Hello. Welcome to this week's meeting of the Natural Rights Sangha. Let me see the date. So it will be the Sunday, October 11th, 2020 meeting of the Natural Rights Sangha. And with this whole virus thing going on and time being more subjective than usual and seeming, it's what a dates mean sometimes. I'm in Portland, Maine right now. I'm at the home of one of our board members, Ralph Davis. And it's a really nice place. It's 110 years old, this apartment building, and he has the top floor. And this is Maine in October, so it's sunny out, but it's getting cold. There's a wind, and you definitely feel it, especially at night. My first time in Maine. Now, well, I'm moving ahead of myself. Let's start with the meditation, as we usually do, a mindfulness meditation, which, of course, we focus on letting thoughts go and just being. And the way we usually do this is with just acknowledging the inhales and exhales through our nose. And if thoughts come, we can say thinking, and let them go. We don't follow them. We don't get absorbed or carry them forward or wonder, oh, that's right. Tonight I'm doing this. And I wonder if so-and-so is going to, whatever. We don't go there. We just let that go. And we come out relaxed. And as usual, we'll set a timer. Please set your timer for however many minutes you'd like to meditate. And 10, 12, 20, whatever it is, 5, and we will meditate mindfully. And when I say begin, please turn this off with your time, start your timer and meditate. And when it comes back, when the timer goes off and you come back, then start this again and we'll continue. Okay, so sitting up straight, relaxing. Okay, let's begin. Well, welcome back. I hope it was a nice meditation for you. And I just realized I had not put my phone on airplane mode, so I'm doing that right now. It's always a good idea, and I always forget to remind us before we start to do that. A few weeks ago, we talked about Spinoza, and I read about some of the words of Spinoza, and you discovered why Einstein always said, if asked if he believed in God, always said he believed in the God of Spinoza. We found out about this, and some people really appreciated that. That it opened them up to a new thinker who absolutely had come around to the truth and who needed to express it from his cultural and Christian framework and did so. And he was a Christian of Jewish extraction, so he had both traditions going for him, and he got in trouble with both the Jews and the Christians for his thoughts. Well, we're going today, as promised, go into someone else who got in trouble for his thinking, and that is Meister Eckhart. And Meister Eckhart was a theologian. He was a Catholic, of course, because before the Reformation, all the Christians in Europe were Catholic, and every other religion better hide. And Meister Eckhart pretty steadily through his life got in trouble for some of his views. Some of the things he said were considered not to quite be up to doctrinal standards. Well, for most of his life, he was able to overcome them with some very intelligent and well-founded defenses. And he was obviously eloquent and good with people, and he kept getting positioned in places of authority with control over colleges and large areas of church land and many priests and training of priests. So, but certain other types of Catholics, they have the Franciscans and the Benedictines and all of these, did not like him and protested about him to Rome rather frequently. So near the end of his life, he was asked to come to explain himself. And he came, and while there to explain himself, he passed away. Now, of course, there's a natural suspicion they got rid of him, right? Well, there's no real hint of that. He was an older man in a time with many diseases and very bad medical care, and he passed away. In later times, when people were trying to bring his reputation back up, and the Vatican pointed out that we never did anything against him officially. We were investigating him, and some initial reviews had said that some of his things were not up to our doctrinal snuff, so to speak, but we never actually condemned him, or we certainly did not excommunicate him or declare him a heretic or anything like this. Maybe because they didn't have the time, but it didn't happen. So they said there's nothing to defend. He's fine. So what is so controversial about this gentleman? Well, if you look at him from the perspective of a modern day Advaitist and read what he wrote, you'll quickly recognize some things. Many things he said could have come from Ramana Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj or from other worthy Advaitic sages. And you begin to realize, ooh, he got it. And he got what we believe Jesus was really trying to say, as opposed to what the church doctrine was trying to say. So no wonder he was in trouble with them, that he had to frame it through a Catholic framework, or he would have definitely been burned at the stake real fast. Well, that's how we see it. Now, is that the truth? I believe it is, but it could be something different. However, listen to these and see how these fit in with a modern spiritual belief, especially of the Jnana type, of the type who believes in truth and using the mind to go inside and to find what is, and to investigate everything as we are encouraged to with our precepts. I would like to think that Meister Eckhart would have liked our precepts. And but that's only a guess. So I'm going to read you some quotes from Meister Eckhart and see for yourself. If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. Okay, leaving Meister Eckhart for a second. Remember, Advaita means not two. Not two, there is no second. And he's talking about God and him having the same eye. Not two. Okay. Back to Meister Eckhart. Be willing to be a beginner every single morning. And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Only the hand that erases can write the true thing. Spirituality is not to be learned by flight from the world or by running away from things or by turning solitary and going apart from the world. Rather, we must learn an inner solitude wherever or with whomsoever we may be. We must learn to penetrate things and find God there. In other words, God is everywhere. God is everything. All that is all that is. Everywhere, everything, all the time. Back to Meister Eckhart. Theologians may quarrel, but the mystics of the world speak the same language. Nothing in all creation is so like God as stillness. Now, if Ramana Maharshi couldn't have said that, the man who was famous for his biggest teaching being silence. Truly, it is in the darkness that one finds the light. So when we are in sorrow, then this light is nearest of all to us. Wisdom consists in doing the next thing you have to do, doing it with your whole heart, and finding delight in doing it. Now, that one, that's intrinsic to our precepts. It's also intrinsic to how Ramana Maharshi lived his life. He had a nickname, it was Perfect Hand, because everything he decided to do, he would do as well as possible. And not with any expectation or disappointment if something didn't quite work out, but he would just put his whole being into that in that moment. So it came out really well. And here Meister Eckhart says, wisdom consists in doing the next thing you have to do, doing it with your whole heart and finding delight in doing it. I am as sure as I live that nothing is so near to me as God. God is nearer to me than I am to myself. My existence depends on the nearness and the presence of God. Some people prefer solitude. They say their peace of mind depends on this. Others say they would be better off in church. If you do well wherever you are. If you fail wherever you are. Your surroundings don't matter. God is with you everywhere, in the marketplace as well as in seclusion or in the church. If you look for nothing but God, nothing or no one can disturb you. God is not distracted by a multitude of things, nor can we be. When the soul wants to experience something, she throws out an image in front of her and then steps into it. There's a lot in that one. Interesting that a man would choose a woman, too. Love is as strong as death, as hard as hell. Death separates the soul from the body, but love separates all things from the soul. Some people want to see God with their eyes as they see a cow, and to love him as they love a cow, for the milk and cheese and profit it brings them. This is how it is with people who love God for the sake of outward wealth or inward comfort. They do not rightly love God when they love him for their own advantage. The price of inaction is far greater than the cost of making a mistake. We are all meant to be mothers of God, for God is always needing to be born. A human being has so many skins inside, covering the depths of the heart. We know so many things, but we don't know ourselves. Why? 30 or 40 skins or hides, as thick and hard as an ox's or bear's, cover the soul. Go into your own ground and learn to know yourself there. One must learn in inner solitude, wherever one may be. One must not always think so much about what one should do, but rather what one should be. Our works do not ennoble us, but we must ennoble our works. There's a place in the soul where you've never been wounded. My Lord told me a joke, and seeing him laugh has done more for me than any scripture I will ever read. I am what I wanted, and I want what I am. God is not good, or else he could do better. All God wants of man is a peaceful heart. Nobody at any time is cut off from God. If anyone went on for 1,000 years asking of life, why are you living, life? If it could answer, it would only say, I live so that I may live. That is because life lives out of its own ground and springs from its own source. And so it lives without asking why it is itself living. Last one. There are many more, but this is the last one for us. I need to be silent for a while. Worlds are forming in my heart. I'd like to know more about Meister Eckhart. And if you have any questions about him or would like to hear more of him, please let me know. Of course, I'm at mark@naturalrightssangha.org. And I'd like to mention a name as a preview. There's a person called Ananda Wood, wood as in tree or piece of lumber, Wood. Ananda, of course, as in bliss or divine peace. Ananda Wood is a very fantastic spiritual personage. I would call him a sage, definitely also a scholar. And we'll be working with things from Ananda Wood and that he brings forth from his own teacher, who was named Atmananda. Atmananda with a couple things on the back. Not my friend Swami Atmananda. He's a different great Atmananda. But those will be coming up in the future. Meanwhile, I hope that your endeavors to keep the precepts are going well. It is an interesting time. And certainly a lot of people are stressed and by the events in the world and by the faltering economy and the strained social structure and many things happening. So the precepts can only help this. Mindfulness meditation cannot hurt this either. So may you have a blessed week. Yeah. And before we go, of course, we'll do the Four Immeasurables. And the Four Immeasurables, we do them repeating after me. First, we do them for ourselves, and then we do them for we. Then we choose the we just before we do it. So let's do it for ourselves first. So please repeat. May I have happiness and the causes of happiness. May I be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May I reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay, so now let's do it for we. So you and everybody, every sentient being, people you have troubles with, people you love and really like, whoever the we is, choose one personage in the we and look them in the eye and to represent the whole group. And let's do it for we, the four immeasurables. May we have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May we reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. I will put an interesting link on the bottom of the comments on this. It's one I'd recommend to watch regarding the world situation. I'd be curious whether you agreed with it or not. I believe it's well founded and well researched, and I believe the person is sincere, which means a lot. But um, I'll put the link down there, and it relates to some of our precepts. And well, you'll see if you choose to look at it. So blessings. And have a great week.